Hello, my name is Benedict and I'm the creator of the LERP Animator. I'm now going to take you through the functionality of the asset. This illustration shows in a nutshell how everything works. You start off by defining which objects you want to be affected by the asset. Each of these states represent a certain position, rotation, and scale for all of the objects. And each segment then represents a destination point for interpolation between A and B. A to B, A to B, A to B. Let's take a look at how this works in action. Let's start off with this simple cube and let's add the LERP animator. This is the collection of transforms that will be affected by the asset. And as you can see, the cube itself was not added automatically. That's because the asset is designed to support any number of transforms, and a lot of the time you're going to have a top level object with child objects, and you're not necessarily going to want to animate the top level object. So let's just add this. When you add the transform into the collection, its position, rotation, and scale is automatically saved in the start states, and also any segments if they exist. So let's just, if we move this upward and add the segment, this is now automatically saved in the segment. So now we can interpolate between them easily. Let's give it a longer time and another curve. If we want to take it down again, we can just preview the start state and then add another segment. And now this will also contain the same data as start states. We can also manually save transform data from the scene. Let's just add another segment and then we will move this over here and sample scene. This will now move over here. Let's play around a little bit with scales and rotations also. So if we, for instance, scale this up for this segment and sample scene here, and we scale this down and only this axis up, and then we sample here, it gets a little more interesting. And if we also add some rotation offsets here, let's rotate around the Z axis for the first segment. And for the second, let's rotate around the Y axis. Let's see what happens now. So that was actually the main functionality of the asset. Now let's go over to looking at multi-object setups. Let's just make an empty game object here, a root object. And let's add some cubes. Now let's add the LERP animator on the top level object. And let's add all these cubes to the list. Now let's just make some adjustments here. And add a segment. Now these are all saved in the first segment. So that's kind of the strength of this asset, that you can edit all these objects at the same time from a single component inspector. And you will always have a list of all the objects in the rotation offsets. Let's just put in some random stuff here. And let's bring them back. In addition to the duration of the segments, we also have the option of adding a pause after it, just so you can have a little more control. We also have the opportunity of adding any kind of Unity events before or after the actual lerping.